Great. Okay, we are live, I think. I'm going to check that now. But anybody who's going to join today, thank you for coming. Today, it's the fourth day in a row that I'm doing a live stream, 2 hours a day from this time until 2 hours from now, obviously, where I am openly building attributes version 2 for Finsweet. So if you've been watching this, thank you for coming in again. If you are new here, these live streams are just a way for me to do work, but while I'm sharing that with the community, I'm doing 25-minute sprints. I'm using Pomodoro. So I'm doing 25-minute sprints of deep work and then 5-minute sprints, 5-minute breaks where we just do QA or anything fun that you want to just discuss with me. So I'm gonna wait until it's 5 minutes past the time. I'm actually setting up still my screen sharing. So in 4 minutes from now, we will start the deep work. So anybody who comes here, I really appreciate it. Good morning for you or good evening. Okay, so I was just getting ready, and once I hit live, it was like, oh, but I haven't set up but I haven't set up my screen share, and I need to do that. Right, last fourth. Okay, got this here. I'm still learning about how all these live streaming stuff works. I'm new to it. I'm a newbie. Okay, this is done. Done. Ready. Boom. Okay, I will share my screen in 1 second. Hey, morning. Got some MMP. How can I work with you? Well, first of all, you could clarify, what do you mean working with me? You mean working alongside with me while I'm working right now in the live stream? Just follow along and you can do the sprints with me. If you mean working with me at Finsweet, so getting hired, then I really recommend that you go to finsweet.com/developers. We've got a full website where we explain what we are looking for anytime that we look for developers and what's the process that you have to follow if you want to get hired at Finsweet. So it's that, if that's what you are referring to, please do that. Okay, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready, and I can start sharing my screen. Close others. Let's zoom in. Boom. And I think that I'm good to go. Okay. Morning, Noda. Thank you for dropping by. Hey, good morning. Helmo. um, Godson, can it be a reply guy under your company or you, or a Twitter rater? Well, if you're referring to live streaming stuff, for now, obviously you can see I have barely uh, 3 people watching now, so I don't think that I need anything like that. But in the future, I might appreciate it. So thank you for suggesting. I dance, I dance too, young man. Ha ha ha. Okay, great. So you've seen my you see my profile. Yes, I do dance. I do. I develop stuff. I code a bit, but then on my free time, I do dancing. Yes, I've been a teacher for 15 years now. I was very young when I started teaching to other people. I dance with Twitch emotes. Nice. Okay. I think that I've got all my setup ready and it's 5 minutes past the time. So that means that it's time to start. Let me just quickly share this as well. Still learning how these X Pro thing works. How do I get a link from this? Come on. Share. Thankful. Cool. Okay, we're ready to rock. Great. So let me put you in context. I've been working on Finsweet attributes library. If you're in the Webflow ecosystem, essentially it's a library that allows you to expand the functionalities of the front end on Webflow sites. And I'm working specifically on a module, a package inside this library that is related to everything on lists. So it allows you to load items on lists, to sort those lists, to filter those lists, to do other type of combinations with other attributes, etc. Okay. And yesterday we were focusing on finishing some automated tests, and I think that we started with filtering. Yes, we did. We started with the basic filtering, which I'm going to show you here with the text filtering. And in that case, we started by doing, equal matching, not equal matching, containing, fuzzy matching. Then we moved into number filtering. So in here, where we are doing other things like comparing if something is greater, less equal, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So all that stuff is already implemented and it's automatically tested already. So the next thing to do, it's I want to move into a new type of filtering, which would be I want to support radios and checkboxes and all that stuff, right? So let's do that. If I go back to here, yeah. Not only the types, tags, and number and dates, but also we need to support date fields, checkboxes, radios, single selects, multiple selects, etc. Fair, that's also dancing. Yeah, I mean, if you want to dance with emojis, it's a nice way to say hi here. Love it. Great. So let's. I'm gonna duplicate this, or actually, we can perhaps build it again. Let's duplicate this. Actually, hold on. I forgot to start the timer. Great. Let's add a task here, which would be um, test radio filtering. And I also want to test checkbox filtering, test checkbox filtering, like that. And then we can move on into other features, like, for example, showing forecasting potential results. That's one of the things that I had been working on in here, where we showcase potential results of each of the checkboxes or radios before the user clicks on them. But let me go back here. Let me try to remember, is this, yeah, hold on. These tests can be committed already. So let's do that. Let's do this. Bit of zoom, because I want to commit this and then move on. Okay. I'm alive in. Oh, yes, I am live. Great. I was just double checking. Cool. Okay. So this CI needs to pass. So once it passes, we're gonna merge, but let's just create a new branch for now and do, oh, you know what? Maybe we can do that still here on the same branch. Yeah, because that's for basic tests. Cool. Duplicate this. Let's filter basic. Let's start with radios because they are easier. Radios. Yeah, let's do radios first. Do you guys want to hear some music? Let's add some chill music. Let's see. Okay, cool. Radios filtering. Um, let's not forget that we still need to add all the variations for matching. And let's check the operators as well. Okay, so for radios filtering, instead of using the names of the cars in here, I'm gonna use, we need to use a different field. I'm thinking that we could use car brands, for example. Yeah, let's use car brands. So instead of doing this, for radios equal matching, we cannot do that. We cannot do not equal matching. We can do contain matching. I think that fuzzy is a bit redundant, but we can check that as well. Contains, not contains, greater, greater equal, less equal, empty, not empty. We can do the empty and not empty as well. But that would be for checkboxes, actually. Yeah, that would be for checkboxes. So for now, let's keep these ones. And that's not going to be name, that's going to be brand. And in here, we are going to add a collection list where we list the brands in here, like that. And inside each one of these, whoops, not a checkbox, but we're going to add a radio button. Great. That's going to be brand, and let's do contains to make sure that it does not collide with others. And then the choice value, that's one of the downsides of Webflow. I would really love to be able to connect this, the choice values of each radio to the CMS. That would be ideal. But for now, Webflow, come on, do this. For now, we cannot still connect it as we could, for example, with IDs. I can connect an ID to a field, to a CMS field. I cannot connect a radio value to the CMS. And it also, because Webflow is a bit, for, what's the opposite of permissive? Whatever. It does not allow me to do this. I cannot add values. Come on. It's a reserved name. So instead of doing that, what we have to do instead is create a workaround where we are doing fs list value. So this is just an attribute that, a custom attribute that I had to come up with so we can still add the value of each of these things. And in that case, these would be the name of the brand. Yeah, let's do the name of the brand like that. So now each of these radios that are being rendered are displaying the name of the brand. And in here, we can also, in the label, show the name of the brand. Cool. Okay. Boom. And I think that we are done. The choice value, it's a bit redundant here. As I mentioned, can I keep it empty? I don't think I can keep it empty. Oh, actually, yes, I can. Okay. That works. And okay, then that's it. So now each of these need to also have an operator. By default, we are using fslist operator equals to contains operator. So if I did not define this, I would still get these contains matching. But still, let's be explicit about this. So we have this, then let's do the same thing, but not contains. So let's duplicate this. Let's change the group name to brand not contains. And also let's make sure that the operator here, it's not contains. Great. And for the fuzzy thing, I don't think that the fuzzy matching makes sense for this scenario. I'm not really sure. Because when you're selecting from options, you're expecting to find the exact same option. You're not expecting to do a fuzzy search. And I think that in the code base, when doing the filtering, the fuzzy, it's expecting a single string. It's not expecting multiple of those. Although the query might allow query combination can be potentially multiple queries. Let's skip it for now. So let's not add fuzzy. Let's not support it for now. And then let's move down here. We are, okay, loading more FS element list. Okay, good. But in here, we need to add the brand. So this is not going to be the name. This is going to be the brand. Come on, show me the brand. Car brand. The name. Yes, great. And this is not going to be the field called name. This is going to be called brand, which made me remember that we also need to change that in the radio buttons. We need to define this. So fs list field equals to brand, and fs list field as well. Fs list field equals to brand. Cool. Okay. So this should work now. The logic for this is already implemented, but I want to make sure. So let's spin up this pm dev. Whoops, what did I break? Address is already in use. Hold on. How is it already in use? I don't have any other terminal spinned up. Come on. Okay, working now. Great. So let's try this super quick. We're coming here. We're gonna do add dev equals to true, like that. You know what? I want to get rid of this. It's polluting my view. Great. Okay, so we've got, it should load 300 items. Let's try. If we do stream, great, it matches that. Quasar, it matches that. Yeah, now I'm thinking that not only we should do contains matching, we also should be supporting equal matching. Right now, it would be the same because we only have a single brand per item. So it doesn't matter if it contains the brand or if it equals the brand. But in the case of when there are potentially multiple items, so if a single item had multiple brands, I know that it doesn't make sense, but it could be for other type of fields. In that case, we would need that. If it's a string, filter data value. How are we collecting the filters here? Let me try to remember this. I can constantly forget about that. So we store the filters in the list instance. And the filters are stored by a single field, right? Yes, it's a single field. So we could potentially be matching as well the equals. And the contains. Okay, I need to come up with another field that is multiple. So I can also test that here. So the car's something that it's multiple could be, for example, the fuel type. Yeah, it could be the fuel type because I'm seeing that it's a multi-reference. So let's add that as well. So boom, and this is going to be fuel type, and this fuel type will be um down. It has to be a nested collection. So in here, we need to add another collection and link this to the fuel type multi-reference. Yep. And inside, so this is going to be fuel types. And inside here, let's add a text block with the name for each of these. So this could potentially, although I'm seeing that most of the items only have one, we'll have to update the collection. Potentially, this could be multi-reference. So let's make this list inline list, whatever. Because then we can do inline flex like that, and we can wrap things in case that we have a bunch of these wrapped down. And let's add a gap of 0.5 rem. So let's try this. There's one item that's called Fulgur that only has hybrid. Let's update this. Fulgur. Oh no, okay, right. Because this is the brand. This is the brand. So let's add, because otherwise I cannot identify this. Let's add the name as well. Name. Like that. Okay. So the first one is Alalo, which is a brand of Fulgur, and it only has a single fuel type. Let's update this. Alalo. Let's do electric and plug-in hybrid as well. Yeah, sure. Cool. Okay, cool. So this is nice. It's, let's do, yeah, let's keep it like this. Great. So this is going to be f as list field equals to fuel. This is the name, and this is the brand, like that. So now let's do the same thing, because I want to compare the functionality between the contains when there's a single field, which would be the brand. It's a single field, single value field, or multi-value fields like that. So let's add also, I don't know, like these, all these Soro, just for comparing all these Soro. Let's add it, another one, all these Soro. This one, let's also make a gasoline, like that. Okay, perfect. So there's going to be brand contains, brand not contains. I want to do brand equals. Brand equals, and the group name is equals as well. Then let's do not equals. Not equals. And this is not equals as well. Oops. Okay, then contains, all good here. And not contains should be all good as well. Cool. So I want to do now the same thing, but for the field types. So let's do that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so this has to be field equals. Oh, what I just did doesn't make sense. Let's unlink this first. We'll have to build this again. Field types, great. And then radio button in here where the group name is going to be fuel underscore equals. No choice value. Let's add the label as well for the name. And then in here, we need to do the same thing. So fs list value would be the fuel name. And fs list field will be fuel. And the operator. And fs list operator, it's equals. Now, done. So now we can duplicate this a bunch of times, and this is going to be not equals. So the same thing. Contains and not contains. Did I do it right? Did I do it right? I think we did. Okay, great. Let's move this a bit. List radios. Let's do this a bit more. Wrap down. Center. Let's add maybe one ramp spacing. Radio field. Radio button. Radio label. No need for all this fancy stuff. Can be like this. I think it's fine. Okay, so list radios as well. Let's copy this. List radios. So it doesn't take up that much space on the screen. Whoops. Okay, much better. Great, let's test this. Now it's a time when I need to make sure that the functionalities are making sense. The way that we are filtering each of these conditions makes sense. Okay, so the brand equals, we should be matching only items that have stream. Okay, brand not equals. Yeah, I need to clear this. Yeah, because when there's a radio button that it's set, we need to clear it. And this made me remember that sometimes we need to support radio buttons where we are clearing the filter. Because in all of these, there should also be another option that's called something like all, right? And in that case, it should be the clear button. So let me write this down so I don't forget about that later. So filter basic radios, clear button, clear radio, or empty value, or something like that. Actually, an empty value would work. Should work. Let me. Whoops. I think that I messed the mic. Mic still working? Yes. Let me try something quick, which would be in here. I'm gonna try, let's add another radio button. And in this radio button, the group name will be the same one as the others. So the same one as this one. Brand equals. So group name brand equals, no need for a value. And then in here, fs list value can be empty. And then fs list field equals to brand. And the operator should be the same one, which would be the equals. But hold on, because I don't want to do this in here. I want to do it in the radio. So fs list value empty. Then fs list field equals to brand. And fs list operator equal. Is it equal or equals? Hold on. It might be not plural. Utils, constants, list. It might not be plural. No. Equal, not equal. Contains, not contain. I should reconsider this because we're not using plural in here. We're calling this equal, not equal, and then here contains, not contains. So this one is singular, this one is plural. I think that this can be confusing. Hey, Godson, you have a question? Drop it. Shoot it. Okay, break time. How are you guys doing? You might not be around already, Godson. Let me check Twitter. I'm still learning how all this stuff works. So I have no idea of how the live streams here on X are being displayed. Have you guys seen the new update from Webflow, the variable modes? It's cool. I might do a video about that. I think that it's nice to finally have a proper professional way to organize all the values in the project. And I would love to talk about a bit more on the depths of it, like what's happening underneath when you're doing this, the variable modes. I think that it will be nice. Cool. Nice. I just found out how this works. I'm supposed to select one of these tasks. So I know that then I'm working on that task. Oh, and then it collects how many Pomodoro cycles I've been putting into that task. Interesting. Okay. Noted. Okay, cool. So if I do all here, let me try to see. So no value brand equal same name. Let me quickly try this. Okay, time to get to work. Come on, Webflow, publish this. Why do you make me wait? Ah, not published yet. Okay, let me check for a second. When we are doing the simple filter, when doing simple filters, how are we getting the values? I want to make sure that this is going to work. Click cleanup for the clears input cleanup. Okay. So it tries to get the attribute field. Yep. But what about the value? Yeah, get condition data. So when it's a checkbox, it tries to, no, when it's a radio, if the radio is checked, it tries to get the attribute, or it gets the value from the check radio, or it sets it to no. So this should potentially work if Waffle decides to publish and we can test it. Come on. Come on, Waffle. Oh, finally. Okay, let me try that. So if we do stream, it's gonna get it. If we do all, it's failing here. So let me check this 1 second. Const. The value in here. What's happening here? value stream, value empty. Interesting. So why is it not working when it should? Let's get the condition data. And then let's see how the filters look like after setting them up. Console log list filters. Okay, and I also want to do the same thing, but before doing anything. So let's do it in here. Okay, good. So initially, we've got a condition of brand equal to empty. If I set that, then it should be brand equal to contains. Oh, yeah, frick. Come on. Because it's not equals, is equal. Equal. Like that. Not equal. Contains, not contain. Equals, not equals. Equal. And not equal. Contains, not contains. Okay, let's check that again. It's a bit slow today at publishing Webflow. Okay, filters. So brand equal, not equal, contains, not contains, field equal, not equal, contains, not contains. Okay, and all of these have a value of empty. Now, if I set it to stream like this, then the brand equals stream. Good. Now, if I set it to all, the brand equal to nothing. Okay, good. So this works. Great. Glimmer. Okay, that is perfect. Then let's do the same thing, but for the rest. Let's do. Let me try something first. Left, top to bottom. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. That's better. That is much better. So let's do. Yeah, let's do this. Way better. Okay, so now let's duplicate this as well. So this all is going to be the same, but for the brand not equals, and I know that it's the wrong name, but I'm too lazy to change that now. So brand not equal, like that. Great. Same thing here, but for contains. And the radio button will be contains. Same here. Not contains. Okay, great. And that's going to be the same, but for fuel equals, and that is field fuel equals. I'm doing this so I can unset when testing things, because otherwise it's going to be pain in the ass. Okay, and the last one. Not contains. Not contains. Okay, cool. We can finally test this after almost an hour. Okay, good. We could even start these checked as well. Can they start checked? No? Okay. Anyways. Great. So the brand equal works. The brand not equals, let's see this. Stream. There shouldn't be any values in here that have a name of stream. Let's do Fulgur. No Fulgur. Seller. Okay, great. That's working fine. Let's unset this. We should see 300. Great. What about the brand contains? Should be the same thing. So brand contains stream gives 19 results. Brand equals 19 results. So it's the same thing, which makes sense. Nimbus 22. Nimbus 22. Okay, that makes total sense. And that should be the same thing, but for not contained. So if I do not contained stream, 281, not equals stream, 281. Total sense. Okay, now the fuel thing, because in fuel types, there can be potentially multiple. So I think that when comparing for equals, what should happen is that this one should not match because all the items are not equally the same, only one. So if I do, for example, hybrid, this one should match because it only has one. This one should not match because it has multiple. And not all of them match. Right? Let's try it. Yeah, correct. $71, $70, gasoline. That makes sense. Great. Not equal should be the same thing. So if I do this hybrid, but if I'm doing not equal, hold on, we've got a bug in here. Because now that I've set all back to all, I should see 300 items, but that's not what's happening. So there's a bug in here. Equal and not equal, for the fuel type are not matching. So let me see this. Yeah. Come on. Wrong name. I really think that we should update the names to be equals and not equals instead of equal, not equal. I'm going to do that later. So let me add another task here. Rename equal, not equal operators to equals, not equals. Okay. So let me set it up again. Not contains hybrid all, setting it up right. Okay, good. Now the thing is that if I select equal to hybrid, the item that has multiple options, this one, should not be matching. But if I do not equal, okay, good. It's matching. But if it's not equal, also makes sense. Okay. Because it's not exactly equal to only hybrid. It should be equal to all of the items. Good. Great. Now let's go with the contains one. Okay, perfect. Plug-in hybrid. Yes, perfect. Gasoline. This does not match, but electric, it does match. Good. And not contains, I should do, if I select gasoline, this one should match, right? And if I select hybrid, correct. I think that it makes total sense. I think that we've got the logic correct. Okay, this all makes sense. So now it's time to move on to checkboxes. I'm gonna add the automated tests later because I know that it might be a bit boring. So let's create the checkboxes version. You know what? Let's add another thing I think that it's exciting, and it's another functionality. Did I only add console logs? Yes, I did. I've got another branch with a work in progress to display potential results. So let's pick that back up and let's add that. So let's merge this for now. This can go away. Okay, good. And in here, this can go away as well. And the filter result one. Update from master. Okay, good. So in here, I've got a bit of a work in progress where yes, the filter results, exactly this. So let me check that. So essentially now in Attributes V2, what we can do is not only we can just define checkboxes and radios, we can also define the potential results that each of these will provide. I think that I will have to wrap this into a text block. Can I add that inside the radio? Yes. Like that, but then I might need to do this should be a flex display. Yep. Flex, center, Let's do a bit of spacing. Yeah, why not? And the radio buttons, I think that then... they can stay like that. I'm good. So this can be a radio field, flex, whatever. Okay, cool. Now the question is, why this is becoming black? Because it's a label, maybe? Could be. Could be. Let's force this. Okay, good. And in here, let's... Nope, no link. Let's add a span or a B in here. And this will be fs list element filter results count. Like that. And essentially, this is going to give the potential results of each of the filters individually. So it's not going to be a general results count for the whole list. It's only going to be related to that specific filter. And you will see how powerful that can be in a second. So let's add all of these everywhere. Everywhere. This will also help me see how performant this is, because it might be a bit resource intensive, because to calculate all the potential results, we need to be doing a bunch of extra operations in the background. Nice. Okay, let's see. For now, we are not getting any results. That could be because we are only checking for checkboxes. Yes, correct. Correct. So we're checking for checkboxes, then we are getting the field that we're getting the results count element. That should be okay for all. Then we're getting the operator. We are getting the value. That this in here could be potentially a problem, the way that I'm doing that now, because I'm in here. This was just a proof of concept. But I think that we get the value different when it's a checkbox than when it's a radio. It might work for both. Or, whoops, or empty. Okay, so let's do or type it's not equals to radio. Oops, and okay, look at that. Nice. So now if the value No, this line has to go. Yep, but then here something is not right. Yeah, this is definitely not working as expected. Absolutely not. Okay, we'll have to plan for this properly. First of all, here, these all should be displaying 300. It should not be displaying 0. That applies to here as well. Secondly, when I'm in this state, that's okay because I can see the potential results of each one of these. So if I select this, I should see 19 in the results. Yes. The thing is that um, I should still see the potential results of all these other values if I selected them, right? Because I want to say like, okay, I get the results in here. How many results do I get if I switch to a different value, like zenith, for example? These 12 should be displayed even if I'm selecting this. This is going to be tricky. But it's coming to break time, so that's going to happen after the break. Okay. Nice. How are you guys doing? Could be that nobody's watching, by the way, but if you're watching this afterwards, I hope that you're doing good, that you're having a good day. I'm thinking that this is going to be trickier than I was initially expecting. And the reason is because right now, the way that this is being done is it's simulating what would the results be on the already filtered results. So for example, right now there are no filter results, right? So it's taking each one of these values and it's saying, okay, if we take the current result, which is everything, and we simulate that the brand equals to stream, how many results do we get, right? So then we know, okay, it's 19. But then if I select something, then it recalculates everything and it's saying, hey, out of these 19 items, if we select the Nimbus value, how many items are we going to get back from? Which is technically not correct, because in this case, it's either one option or the other. It's not a cumulative. So that means that we don't have to use the previous filters. We don't have to use the current filter results. We have to use all of the items again, right? Yes, and we need to keep simulating that. But when we move into checkboxes where they can potentially be multiple checkboxes selected, in that case, it should be different, because when we have a single checkbox selected, then we need to simulate, okay, if we keep that checkbox selected and we select another one, how are the results going to look like? But I think that we will always have to use the base of all the items instead of the previous results, which scares me a bit, because that means that it's going to be even more performance resource intensive. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, next print. So let's quickly check this super quick. List filters, and then list hooks filter result. No, let's use list items. List dot items, correct. And instead of using the filters, this is a pain in the ass. I don't know why I don't get proper type inference from here. But list item array, like that. Okay, so instead of using this, let's use this. Right. Okay, that's looking better already. That is looking better already. Let's see. So if I select 281 here, I'm getting 281 correct. If I select this one, I should be getting 275. That makes sense. Then if I select this one as well, I should be getting 27 results. Oh, nice. All 27, yes, and this. Okay. Then I need to focus on why this is returning 0. Why is this happening? If no conditions, condition index return. if there's no condition, return. Okay. Um, let me do this and let me do the result as well. But I don't want to pollute all of this. I only want to do it if the condition field is equals to brand, and the condition value is equals to empty. Interesting. We're not getting there. That does happen. Oh, because the value is an array. Why is it an array? I always forget about this. Why is it an array? String. Yeah, it should be a single value. Right. Okay, that makes sense. So let me see for a second how we are doing this. Values like that, or value, single value. Right. I need to know if the checkbox is a checkbox group or a single checkbox. And because when it's a checkbox group, we're storing the values as an array. When it's a single checkbox, or when it's a radio, it's a string. It's a single string. Right. Group checkboxes. Yep, we'll have to extract this. So let's do utils filter advanced fuzzy highlight and index text types. I want to extract this into a helper. Where else do we do this? Do we do it somewhere else? No. But still, I think that it's worth it extracting this into a util. So here in attributes, we've got because it's a mono repo, we've got some utils. And I know that we've got some form utils. Clear form field, get form field value. Set form field value. I don't even know if we're using this. We are. Native search. Set form field value. Clear form field. Okay, let's do get checkbox. Checkbox group. Get checkbox group. Like that. And in here, no, let's not export that externally because otherwise it will be confusing. Form field form. Form field form. Do we have the form here as well? Yes. Okay. Let's create a helper here. Cons get checkbox group. And that's going to be the form element. And we can do this in here. And as well, we can say the name. So here, we can do this. The form might be undefined. How can it be undefined? Form field form. Oh, right, because it could potentially not be placed inside a form. Do we have the field here? Form field. Yes. And now, what are we using the form for? Ah, right. Right. Yeah, okay. So this can potentially be defined, and then we can return simply the group checkboxes like that. So this will returns all the checkboxes in a group. The name of the group and the form element containing the group. Great. So then let's go back up here. We can simply replace this get checkbox group. Nice. Nice. Can be potentially null. Great. Okay, and then in here, we need to distinguish between when it's a checkbox group or when it's not. So let's do is checkbox group type checkbox and get checkbox group, and it has length into it. Correct. So if it's a checkbox group, we're gonna do an array like this. Otherwise, we're gonna do single value like that. And voila. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Great. I'm still not 100% convinced that this is going to work when we jump into checkboxes groups, but it is a start. So 3 items here. Let's do a complex selector just to make sure that things make sense. So let's see if I select a stream, so a brand equals to stream, and then I want to have field types equals to hybrid, I should see 1, 2, 3, 3 results. So fuel equals to hybrid, 3 results. Okay. There should be 7 gasoline results. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. And plug-in hybrid, it's not equal to plug-in hybrid. That means that there should be 4 plug-in hybrid. Yes, all makes sense. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Great. What about if I want to compare with this? So let's do brand Folger. Brand Folger. Here. So if I wanted to contain hybrid, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Contains hybrid, 13. 13. Oh, hold on. Yeah, because it might be... You've got a bug here. Hey, Timothy. Thank you for dropping by. I wish that you have a good day. I see a bug in here already because supposedly we should be seeing that if it contains hybrid, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 results, but we are seeing 13 results. So that means that there probably is also counting the plug-in hybrid. It is probably doing that. Probably. Let me count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we've got a bug here. And I know why, actually. And that's a tricky thing that I've been trying to solve for a while. And I'm not sure how to do it. Let me explain. So here we know that this field is a nested list because it's a multi-reference list where there can potentially be multiple items. But in many of these items, there is only a single value. There is not multiple values. We still have a collection item. We still have a collection list, but it's not, how do I put it? It's being counted as it was a single element. So when we are comparing, it's not the same as comparing when we've got a list of items and we say contains, because we are saying, hey, the list should contain this value, right? Rather than when we are comparing a single string, because when we're saying that, we're saying, hey, this string should contain this value here. So what I need to do is check when we are collecting the data, when we're collecting these properties, I need to check if these are living under a collection list, under this. And it's not the top collection list, it's a different collection list. Yeah. Does the filter solution support the input range? Simon, yes. Although it's better in attributes v2 because we no longer have ranges. We have operators. I can show you later when I'm finished with the the sprint. But essentially now, instead of getting opinionated operators like the range one, we get basic operators like it's equal, not equal, greater, less equal, blah, 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 blah. So that means that you can combine all of these however you want. So if you want to potentially create a range, you could be using an input for greater than something and less than something. So then you can do, okay, so it goes from here to here, if that makes sense. You can create ranges this way. And that all goes with operators in here. This. It's going to be documented. It will be easy to use, I promise. Okay, so what we do in list item, when we create a list item property, a list item instance, what we do is we collect the fields. We collect the properties of that item, right? So in this particular case, we would have, okay, the name is equal to Alalo, the brand is equal to Folger, and the full types. This is a list. This is an array, right? We do that in here. We got the field. We look through these, through the field elements. Then we get the field key. We get the value. We convert it if the type is different. Oh, hold on, but it's always an array. It's always an array. It's always an array. So maybe then I need to check it in here, in the contains one. Yep. In here. Yep, I see the problem. Timothy, can answer you in 4 minutes, 27 seconds. Stay with me. Okay, so the problem is in here, where we're saying, okay, we've got a single value from a filter, which is, in this case, let's say, plugin hybrid, right? It's a single string value. When I select this, it will mean that the field contains plugin hybrid. Now, the problem is that in here, when we are filtering, we're saying, hey, get the field data, which would be this data in here, this data in here, and some values. So some of these values here should include this. But that's not the thing, because what we should do is, if it's an array, yeah, we need to do a bit of refactoring, bit of big refactoring here. When we are collecting the fields like this, it cannot be always an array. No, it should be an array only if this is living under a collection list, a nested collection list. So we need to change this. So what we can do, okay, refactoring incoming. So what we can do is type text, and then I think that we can simply, let's start simple. This can be potentially just a single string or multi-string. Let's do the same thing here. It could be a single date, or it can be a multi-date. And it can be a single number, or it can be a multi-number, right? Now I'm getting a lot of errors here, obviously, because then I will have to rethink everything. but I think that it makes sense. I think that it will make sense. Okay, good. So then when we are collecting this value can no longer be just always an array. This value um, needs to be a single or an array depending on if the field element it's living under a collection list that it's not the top collection list. Okay. So this is living under a collection list. That would be this nested collection list. Like that. This one is living under a big collection list, but it's not a nested collection list. No, actually, yes, this one it is. But this one, for example, it is not. So we know that this one needs to be stored as a single string. These ones need to be stored as an array. Okay, great. So how do we do this? Let's do some quick. Is child of list. Then let me see, Tom, 1 second. So in here, get CMS element selector list. Yeah, so let's do field element. No, field element closest. Let's do parent list. Element closest, and is get CMS element selector for the list, like that. List selector. Like that. And then here we're gonna check get the parent list. Then we are gonna check if it's the same as the top list or if it's a different list. And then set the proper value. Okay, break time. Timothy, I don't know if you're still around, but what's your take on using AI editors like Cursor or Windsurf? I spoke about that in, I think that it was yesterday or a couple days ago. Essentially, the summary of what's my take is that I am too lazy to switch into those platforms to enjoy some functionalities that I know that are gonna eventually come into VS Code. So in my case, I use VS Code with Copilot. And Copilot, you probably know it already, but it scans the current file that I'm working with and a bunch of more. And I think that I can also do queries with the workspace context. And it gives me suggestions when I'm coding. So if I'm starting to code something, it will give me some suggestions of what it thinks that I'm trying to achieve. And I can also ask questions about the current context. Now, I know for sure that Cursor, for example, they have implemented even more helpers and around asking AI to do things. I think that there are specific views with the workspace, and you can prompt it to do multi-file changes, etc. So it's more powerful. But the thing of Cursor is that it's based on VS Code. So they took a product that exists and they implemented an additional layer of features on top of that product. Now, obviously, the product owner of VS Code, it's Microsoft. It's the same owner as Copilot. And they've seen how somebody took their work and implemented just a few features on top of it and started making money of it, right? So they're not going to stay hands crossed. They are doing something about it. I know for sure that they are working on implementing maybe not the same exact ones, but many functionalities from Cursor that made users love Cursor over VS Code. And that, that's always the risk of creating a startup, is creating a product that's based on another product. That happens as well to many AI companies that that born, and the only thing that they offer is something that goes on top of an OpenAI API, right? Because they are risking that at some point OpenAI will say, "Hey, you're doing this with my product. I can create this additional layer of of functionality and offer it myself and get money from it. So you're going to become redundant." And that's what happens constantly to a lot of AI companies. And honestly, I think that's what's going to happen to Cursor eventually. That's my hot take. I don't know. It's going to happen in 6 months. It's going to happen in 3 years. I am not sure, but I know that at least up to some degree, this is going to happen. VS Code sees what people are loving for Cursor. Cursor is based on VS Code. VS Code only needs to check and see, okay, I can copy this, I can put it in my product, and Cursor now becomes redundant. So, as I said, summary, I'm lazy to switch to those platforms knowing that they are based on the top platform, which would be VS Code. So for now, I'm just deciding to stay in here. I forgot to add the timer. Anyways, hopefully this makes sense, Timothy. And Anonymous, you are probably a bot, but in case that you're not a bot, I am not sure what you're talking about. In 1986, I saw a Bigfoot in the Washington wilderness. Good for you. Let's change music and let's do the last round of updates. Let's do a bit of our R&B. Hey, nice. Okay, cool. So let's do the last print, and after this, we're gonna be done with today's live stream. Let's continue with this refactoring. So let's check if there's a parent list. Is inside nested list. Like that. Yeah. So essentially, if it's inside a nested list, we know that the value should be an array, right? I can see a feature of use of local models and code editors. I reckon you're right about Microsoft and VS Code. Makes sense for them to start making more money out of it too. Maybe it's not only about making money, it's about getting more users. So it's not directly getting them money, like they're not going to start charging more money if they add more features, but they retain more users into VS Code. More users into VS Code means more users into the Microsoft ecosystem. It means more users potentially using GitHub Copilot. It means more users than using OpenAI instead of other models like Claude Sonnet and stuff like that, etc. So yeah, indirectly, this it's potentially bringing them more revenue. So it makes sense that they think about it. And about use of local models, I think that would make sense as well. Yes, especially if you check how all the launches of the newest laptops are going. Everywhere it's like, hey, new chip that's ready for local LLM running, etc. So we're definitely shifting to that direction. I don't know if it's going to be that direction in 5-10 years from now, but I know that it's becoming popular. Everything related to local development, local AI, etc. We'll see. I'm curious about that as well. Simon, how do you debug the code? Do you use a script on your Webflow page that has a localhost script as a source? Yes. So I'm running a local server, and as you can see, the script, it's this one, script async type module, and the source is just coming from localhost. So all I do in my Webflow side, and because this site, it's not only for me for developing, but also I want to share it with my other teammates. But I don't want them to have to download the code base and run the local server. I have a very little snippet that it's in here, I think. Yes. That essentially says, hey, create a script tag like this, but depending on if there's a dev equals to true query param, then load it from localhost. Otherwise, I deploy it to Vercel. So anytime that I commit to master, that goes to Vercel and it's automated deploy, and then we get these static files hosted. So just by doing this, if I remove this dev equals to true, then it's going to be loading it from Vercel, but it's only going to be loading not the current work in progress that I have because it's not committed yet, but whatever it's committed to master. That's what's deployed in Vercel, if that makes sense. I have created some code solutions on top of Webflow a bit, but it takes a bit of time to push the new code to see it live. But see it live for you or for other users? If you want to push the code very quickly and you don't want to care about CDN, caching, stuff like that, then instead of using, for example, something like JS Deliver, which is what we usually recommend, which is highly cached, and it takes a while to purge the cache and everyone gets the update, then maybe it makes more sense for you to deploy things into a static hosting platform like Vercel, Cloudflare Pages, Netlify, stuff like that. It would be the same thing, but these platforms, they automatically purge the cache whenever you're doing a new deploy. So keep that in mind. I think that it can help you. Nice, good idea. Cool. Happy to help. Okay, so let's get back here. So is inside an as a list. If that's the case, then type value. Let me check again the types here. Types. No, actually, no, in here. The value, it's always defined, right? So let's do const value just for a second. If this is already defined, list item field, I think that it will be helpful if we also store the field in here. Come on, field. And same thing here. Yeah. Correct. So this is, it's not going to be the value, it's going to be the raw value. Because we still need to process it. Right. Yeah, right, in here. So, what about the value? This is supposed to be an array. Right, so let's do this. So if it's inside a nested list, then we know that the value should be an array, like that. And then correct. And then we need to check if the field is if the value does not exist yet, then we push the value inside like this. Correct. So essentially, first of all, we make sure that if it did not exist, it exists. Field key. Let's call this field key. Field key. And then this can be called field key as well. So the field key in here, we make sure that these exists, then we retrieve these obviously, and we check, okay, this array, if it does not contain the value yet, and this value, we know for sure that it's an array, but okay, let's do it. Array is array. I know that it is redundant this, but TypeScript is complaining, so let's do this. Field.value. So if it's an array and the array still does not contain the value, then we want to push the value like that. Great. Then we get an error here because it could be different types, but I'm okay with that. I know for sure that it's going to be the right type because it could be number, or it could be date, or it could be string. Okay, that's it if it's inside a nested list. If it's not inside a nested list, then we need to do this. Like that. If field type it's not equals to the same type. All right, because it needs to be the same type. So field key. Because it could happen that we've got the same field defined, but that there are different types. Could that happen? I don't think. But if I added this was for a reason, which I forgot why. Okay, let's do it anyways. So if field type a bit of refactoring. So we make sure that the field type is the same one, although I'm not sure why we're checking for that. To do, why are we doing this? Then we check, we make sure that if it's an array, this is only for TypeScript, then we make sure that the value does not exist yet, and then we push it. Otherwise, we simply push the value as is. Like that. Like that. Let's check that. So these might fail now. Yeah, I'm good with that. It's absolutely fine. Fuzz attributes, Finsweet attributes, 1 second, solutions, list, loading. This returns the list, right? Oh, it was not resolved maybe because it crashes. Okay. Let's return here the same items for now, just for the sake of avoiding issues. So now there's not going to be any filtering. But what I want to check is the list. And I want to check the items. And let's see how the values are being collected. So name, the brand is a single field value. The name is a single field value. The fuel, it's an array. Great, but the array is empty. The array is empty. So something, we should do something. Let's console log the items as well, so it's easier. When collecting this, let me see. Value is an array. Now it should be fixed. Because I was saying that if it does not contain it, then continue, but it should be the other way around. If it contains the value already, then let's not collect it. So let's see, first item, fuel. Nice, okay, so it contains an array with these. Then what about here, an array with this, good. Here, fuel and an array with 1, good. And the other ones are simply static fields. Great, that's good. That is good. Okay, then we need to update the filtering because now we need to support both when the field data is an array or it's not an array. So for example, empty, we can say return array that is array, field data value. Yeah, like that. So if it's an array, we need to check for the length. If it's not an array, we need to check if it has a value in it. Same thing for empty. If it's an array, it should have length. If it's not an array, it should have value. Good. What about here? So filter data value, if it's not a string, the fuzzy search might be broken when it's an array. I don't know, hold on, filter data. Filter data. Yeah, we need to check for the fuzzy search if it still works. Check if fuzzy search still works as expected. How are we indexing things? List. So when we create the fuzzy search, we extract the fields and we only get one value. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. The values. If it's an array of values, what we could do is potentially concatenate them. We could potentially concatenate them. If it's not an array of values, then we just simply use the single value. Let's try that. So let's convert this into this. Then let's say a field key is equals to ID, return item ID. And then let's say const value equals to this. And this value could potentially be the item here. It will be a list item, right? Correct, because this is expecting a string. Correct. So this value now can be all of this. So let's say if it's an array, let's just join things. What happens if I join an array of dates, for example? What happens if I do or 1, 2, 3, and 4, join? Interesting. What if I do dates? New date. Okay, so it just handles it. Good. Otherwise, return the value. And make sure that this is a string, toString. Nice. Nice. Great. So we should test the fuzzy filter again. Retest fuzzy filtering. But let's continue here. So equal, if it's a single string, yeah, that brings us to the scenario that happened in here, where we've got a single value, let's say that equal to hybrid, blah, blah, blah. If they are not the same length, so if the field data value is a string, now let's get the value. Value would be array is array, like that. No, because if it's an array, we need to check if there are more than one value. So let's do that. If array that is array field data value. In that case, if field data value, yeah, correct. If it's not equals to 1, then it should not match. Correct. Otherwise, then we can do this let value like this. So we can do value like this. Else, the value is just this, like that. Like that. And this value can be, yeah. And then we do r equal like this. I think that this should work. I will have to review this later. But essentially what we're saying is, hey, first of all, if we're checking for equality, we have to make sure that the length of both things that we're comparing, it's the same. In this case, the filter is just a single string, which means that it's not an array of strings. Correct. So we need to make sure that the array is also single field, a single value. So we do this like that. Correct. Simon, is it possible to have a chatbox group to need all filters to match instead of any, and then again on another chatbox group to, yes, it is possible as well. That's a scenario that I still haven't set up to test, but it is possible, and it's done using the match. Where is it? Match. This here. So the match can be either and or. I don't know why I haven't defined it. like that, right? And this matching can be applied to group checkbox groups. It can also be applied to multi-condition groups, and that's something that will exist in the advanced mode of attributes v2. Because in attributes v2, we've got advanced mode where you can add group conditions, you can add more groups, then you can define the matching of that group, also all the groups, then also inside the group you can have conditions, and you can also define the matching conditions for that, etc. So in your example, a vacation home renting service filter, the house has all these facilities. You'll be able to do this, absolutely, yes. I just need to finalize the freaking filtering stuff. Okay, great. So then when we are comparing between arrays, which would be a checkbox group, array versus array, that means that we need to make sure that the field data is also an array. You know what I'm thinking? I think that we should, this should not be a thing. I think that when we're trying to compare from a single field equality to a list, even if the list has just one field, we should not allow that. We should not allow that. So we should say, if array is array field data value, then return false, like that. And then we do this, like that, even simple. Yes, we should do this. And then when it's not a string, which means that it's an array, then we should do the same thing. So we should do if not off, but if should be false. Should be false, I think. Right? So then filter data value. Yeah, and I should reverse this. So instead of being, if I'm checking for a string, because these could be potentially anything. Yeah, let me rewrite this super quick. So this should be if array dot is array filter data no field data value. Right. I think that that's the case. I want to refactor this because it's not clear, but essentially when the filter is a single string that we are comparing for single values in the item. When the filter is an array, then we want to first make sure that the item values is an array as well. And then we check that if it's the same length, and then we check that the value is also the same value as well. Yeah, correct. Correct. Yeah. But that's a thing for later in today, because now I've reached the end of today's sprint. So before ending this, if any of you are still watching and you haven't durned me for 2 hours doing some live coding, um, if you want to ask anything about what's coming here in attributes or any off-topic question, let me know. And if not, I'm gonna end the stream here. I don't know, Simon, if you heard my question. You might not be around though. That might not be the case. So in that case, I think I'm gonna end it here, live stream, because oh, cool, nice. Well, Simon, I appreciate you being here for real, and gonna do. Well, I appreciate everyone coming here, and if even if you just spend 5 minutes watching this, I really appreciate it. Um, Today, I'm finishing this week of daily live streaming. Tomorrow, I'm doing a live stream, but it's not going to be on my personal channel. It's going to be at Finsweet's channel, and it's the technical Friday live streams with Alex Iglesias. So, same time as always, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's at 12 p.m. No, sorry, 2 p.m. GMT time. It's 3 p.m. Spain time. Um, I don't know any more time zones. So if you want to see me going through Valda Town, the town, which is a cool product, and I've invited the founder of Valda Town, which he's called Steve Krause. He's built an amazing product that allows you to turn simple code snippets into server endpoints, so you can create full-blown servers that are deployed serverless all around the globe by just writing just a bit of code. Like if it was a GitHub gist, I really love this. If GitHub gist could run an AWS Lambda was fun. It's really cool if you're expanding the functionalities of Webflow, if you're building something with Wist or with custom code, whatever, and you want a server. This might be a tool that you can consider. So tomorrow I'm going over this tool with Steve Crowd, which is this guy here. And we are going to build something like an example, so you can see some of these features playing along. And that's it. Then on Monday, I'm going to resume my daily streams with attributes work. So if you like this, please come back and just say hi. Okay. So thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow or Monday. Have a good day. Goodbye.